welcome back. If you're new to my channel or just simply not yet subscribed, my name's Brittany and welcome back, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. So my bed is not made because, well, normally I don't make it, but besides that, I was going to make it just for filming purposes, but the cats were laying on it. So I didn't want to disturb them, but I guess now it doesn't really matter because they left. So first and foremost, if you guys have not entered the giveaway yet for a free mystery box with items from brands like Casely and Truleen, as well as other items in the box, definitely make sure to enter. So how you enter is you subscribe to my channel, you like this video, and you comment down below what your favorite mythological creature is. Entries close on April 1st, so make sure that you go ahead and do that now. That way you don't forget, and then you're automatically entered. So today we're diving back into one of my favorite things, and that would be aliens. I'm a huge alien fan. I firmly believe that they exist. I believe they're here, but a few months ago, I stumbled across an alien that I had never heard of before, but one that's actually quite common, and that is the Mantids. Now, they're actually quite terrifying looking, I would imagine. When you think of an alien, what normally pops in your head? Usually, for most people, it would be that little gray alien with the almost like cone-shaped head with the large black eyes and the small little mouth, right? Or maybe you're the type of person that thinks about the reptile-like aliens that just want to take over the world and are living underground. So either that would be the Greys or the reptilians, right? If you don't know much about those, I have done a video on both of those, so make sure you go and check those out. They're quite interesting. Would it shock you to know that there is another very common alien species as far as sightings go? Because obviously there's not only two types of aliens that exist in the world, right? If there's one, there has to be another one, and another one, and another one, and so on and so forth. But this one might actually be working with the reptilians, or possibly controlling the Greys. These beings are referred to as the Mantids, the Mantis people, or the Mantis men, or Mantis aliens. So also guys, so I had a tooth pulled like all the way back here. It's bothering me a little bit. I'm gonna try to keep my voice up to speak louder for you guys. But if I start talking quieter, it's just because it's really bothering me. I just want to apologize in advance if that happens. Anyways, let's get back to it. So I actually have a decent number of encounters that I'm going to share with you guys in this video. I'm not going to make you wait for another video. I am going to include it all in this one. So you guys are going to get all of the information. There's a lot more information, a lot more encounters out there, but I do have quite a few for you guys. But before we dive into encounters, we have to know what we're talking about, right? Yeah, so these beings are said to resemble the insect that is here on Earth, known as the praying mantis. I always thought these insects looked really cool, honestly. Anytime I see one, because they are endangered, I get very excited to see one. I was actually out doing a delivery and I saw one on a porch, and it was like that big. And normally when I see them, they're like that big, but this one was like double the size. I never seen one that big. I had never seen it was like brown, and normally the ones I see are green. So I was pretty shocked by it, but I think they're really cool. I know there's a lot of people that agree with me on that, but anyways, the Mantis aliens are probably got their name from the praying mantis, or vice versa, because of the similar appearance. And maybe the insect is actually a descendant from these aliens. Nevertheless, these beings are said to be usually between 6 and 7 feet in height. However, some encounters say up to 9 feet. So imagine you're, going about your day, and then all of a sudden you see a 9-foot tall praying mantis being. Yeah, quite scary. Or you wake up out of a dream and, maybe it's a good dream and you're dreaming about butterflies or something. And then you wake up and there's this praying mantis thing in front of you, like this giant one. And you think that, well, you must still be dreaming, right? Wrong. This is Athena. I know she's not in a lot of my videos. She's pretty shy. She's laying down. Okay. They have long, narrow faces and long, slanted, big eyes that are sharply slanted upward and outward, almost in a narrow V position. They have extremely long and thin torsos with extremely thin arms, which have a sharp bend at the midjoint, with the hand and fingers sloping almost vertically downward from the wrist. The legs are also bent at almost as tight of an angle at the midjoint, which creates this crouching pose. They are very intelligent and are mostly known as being gentle-spirited. They have a jerky, moving, human-like form, and they are both females and males. So there's female ones and there's male ones. They're not like a frog and can switch between them, but they are separate like humans. They're also known to wear these long robes in a bunch of different colors. So I'm not quite sure if the colors are different ranking or, it's just like we have different clothes that we wear just because we want to. So I'm not sure if it's that instead. However, there are quite a few that are seen not clothed. The Amazin tribe of Africa says that the mantis is the first living creature on Earth that had granted life to the animals and humans, invented language, and brought fire to people. It's said that the mantis created the moon as a guide for hunters by throwing a gallbladder up in the sky. So others believe that the mantids did actually originate from Earth, and this theory does actually kind of make sense. So some researchers believe their insect type appearance is what points directly to this. It's a huge sign that they originated here. Now, insects have been around forever, essentially. If you weren't aware, they used to be a whole lot bigger. Maybe I'm gonna have a fear of insects if I was around during that time, but then they're eating much larger food, right? Because they are much larger, so then maybe they would eat us. I don't really know. Anyways, they used to be a whole lot bigger, and that's not a time I would want to be alive. They have had plenty of time to evolve into a sentient and highly intelligent life form because they have been around so long, much longer than humans. The oldest insect fossil is estimated to be over 400 million years old. Yeah, that's quite old. I moved it back so you guys could see Athena. So it's speculated that during the Cretaceous period, when dinosaurs were wiped out, insectoids had already achieved a technological level superior to even what we have today. And this allowed them to take shelter from bad times in underground cities, which, that makes sense. And this is where they continue, in these underground cities is where they continue to evolve and experiment. Some even believe that reptilians were created by the mantids, that they spliced their DNA with the most intelligent dinosaurs of that time, and the reptilians were the result. Now, if you guys don't know much about the reptilians, it's said that one of the theories of where they came from is Earth. So that would play right along with that theory. So others disagree. They say that there's no way that they have started here on Earth and evolved here on Earth, that they actually came from the Draco system, which is the same star system that the Greys came from, and that they stumbled upon Earth millions of years ago and have just kind of been keeping an eye on us ever since. So we must be pretty interesting. It's said that the Mantids communicate with their abductees or the people that they come in contact with through telepathy. However, there have been witnesses that saw them engaging and interacting with other Mantids, and they weren't using telepathy. They were using an auditory language that mostly consisted of this like clicking type sounds, kind of like, I guess, an insect. Some say that they also are shapeshifters, and they use advanced technologies to create a field around their body that make them appear as a human. And if that is the case, I am sure that they are not the only alien that does that, right? So it makes you wonder how many extraterrestrials might be here on Earth, if that is the case. And, you know, maybe they're your neighbor. Who knows? I'd be so happy to have an alien as a neighbor. That'd be really cool. I was telling Jeff yesterday that I would, because I have never been afraid of aliens. I think that they are amazing. I get so excited about them. And growing up, it was my dream to find like a spaceship land or crash in my backyard, and then I'd go out and I talk to the aliens, and that was my dream. So that is still my dream. I would be ecstatic. Be like the third happiest day of my life. So Mantids are known to be the overseers in abduction, and they appear to be leading the Greys, who seem to be doing their bidding. Some describe these creatures as positive, uplifting beings who are trying to just protect humanity to Earth. Said to use holographic projections as a way to teach. Common report from abductees is that Mantids will use these holographic images to show the abductee what would happen if we continue living the way that we do, and how likely it is that we will be Earth's destruction. Kind of as like a warning, like, you need to stand up, you need to do something, you need to start living better and start, you know, paving that way, like a one person can make a difference type thing. Otherwise, this will be the outcome. Other people have reported an increase in psychic abilities after being abducted, and they say that the Mantids have the ability to put them at ease, that they offer telepathic words of comfort that eliminates their fear of what they are going through. However, not all encounters are positive. Some people return from their abductions with a much darker point of view. Say that the Mantids wish to conquer and control Earth. And some believe that a Mantis hybridization program is already taking place, and that they're using human DNA to create a new species. There's a woman who claims to have telepathic contact with the Mantids, and she goes by Amarya. And she says that the aliens originated in the Sombrero galaxy, which is a spiral galaxy 3 times smaller than the Milky Way, which is where we live. It's located approximately 28 million light years from Earth in the constellation Virgo. And I'm a Virgo, so I think that's pretty cool. She was told that the Mantis beings evolved on an insect planet several 100 million years ago, and was one of the first species in our universe to develop advanced self-awareness. They developed the use of tools, but in unison, they became highly sensitive to sound and light and its reflection and colors. They used this special heightened awareness and became highly advanced in the connection and use of frequencies to change their environment and to communicate with each other and their own surroundings. Even though there are a lot of mantid sightings when it comes to abduction cases, they also happen quite often out in the wilderness, and there's no mention of UFOs, which is quite interesting because if that's the case without the UFOs, that means that they are here, that they must be stationed here, that they must be living here. I mean, maybe they do have a UFO somewhere, but they're far enough away from it where we are not encountering it, and they have a place here. And now we are going to jump in to the cases. Case 1. This happened in New Jersey in 2002. A friend of the witness would go on to tell Lon Strickler from Phantoms and Monsters this. Apparently about a year ago, my friend and his brother were down at Stevens State Park fishing right around dusk. During this time, while his brother was roughly 50 yards downstream fishing, he said he felt this strange vibration in his right ear. And from that, he turned and looked to the right. When he turned and looked to the right, he said he saw the 6 to 7 foot praying mantis looking man just standing there and unable to believe that he could see him. He said the creature was black and gray, and to be quite honest, the way my buddy was telling me the story, I was having a tough time. I know he saw this thing because I could see it in his face. Case 2. Now, this is another case. Strickler would end up digging up. It was a very similar creature in the same vicinity, seen by a different fisherman. Now, this account happened in 2004. I just caught it. Movement out of the corner of my eye to my left. And there it was, humanoid, tall, 6 foot at least, moving away from me back up the bank. I am chest high in the river. The first thing I see was the grasshopper thigh, but bending forward like a human. Then the whole form. He is looking at me over his shoulder, moving up the bank, astonished, amazed. I get the urge that he's astonished that I'm in the water, that I can see him. Triangular head, huge, slanted black eyes, just like a praying mantis. His whole body was gangly, knobby, but you could see, or you could still sense it was powerful. And no, I would not say it was a big bug. It was definitely humanoid despite the mantis insect qualities. Again, I stress the strong impression that the mantis man was cloaked, and I caught it just right. It abruptly found itself against a new blank background and was adjusting quickly. No, I do not believe it slipped into another dimension or plane. I detected movement and first saw that strong left thigh and strong right calf. Then the whole thing, and immediately those eyes and face. The whole encounter only was a couple of seconds. I cannot tell you with any strong certainty what its feet or hands looked like, but I can tell you that its arms were normal and not the literal mantis forelegs I have seen in drawings of these aliens. Case 3. This was another case that was featured on Phantoms and Monsters, and it happened in the same area. However, this one happened in July of 2014. So 3 cases that happened in the same area. I wonder what's there. This is what the guy said. I saw something strange a few weeks ago on the Musconetcong River, near my home here in Hackettstown, New Jersey. I was driving home from the drugstore on Newburgh Road. As I drove near the bridge or over the river, I noticed to my left something. I thought it was a fisherman, standing in the river just off the south bank. I slowed the car and looked closer. It wasn't a person, and it was transparent, like with a weird shape. It moved slowly toward the bank and into the trees. That's the last I saw of it. It was tall, 8 foot, had long, thin arms hanging off of it. The color was a pale brown, but I could see through it. The head was small compared to the body. It was sunny that day, so I thought it may be a glare from the water. But after I thought back, I realized I wasn't seeing a mirage or a glare. Case 4. The next case happened in 2011 along the Thames River in Connecticut. The lady who encountered the creature said this: I saw a small 1.5 to 2 foot tall praying mantis humanoid running on the side of Pequot Avenue in New London, Connecticut. The avenue runs alongside the Thames River, and I was driving southbound on Pequot when I saw it on the side of the road directly on my left. It was a mahogany brown color, and it looked exactly like the CGI version on the show. I stopped my car and watched it, and it was looking right at me the whole time while it ran toward the storm drain. It never took its eyes off of me. Then it jumped down the storm drain. Case 5. Another encounter happened in 2015 in the vicinity of Bug Basin Redwood State Park in California. The witness called himself Jim G. and lives in London, England. He said, all I recall was that it was tall, at least 7 foot. It had to bend its neck because of the height of the ceiling. Its head was pointed with large eyes. Its forearms were extremely long and moved in a jerky fashion. The cloaked figure was closer, crouching by my bed, so I couldn't tell how tall it was. But I could clearly see that it was wearing some kind of overlapping, rigid armor, including a metallic-looking breastplate that had a series of circles in it. Its head was dome-like, with emotionless facial features. Its eyes were large and surrounded by detailed ridges. It acted in a way that reminded me of a robot or insect. I remember thinking to myself, nobody is going to believe me. At this point, the mantis bent its upper body over my bed and directly above me. In its hand, it was holding a long metal object that looked like a needle. A green light shot directly from the needle and into my right eye. Maybe it's a laser, I'm not sure, but it was very painful. I could see all the veins from my eye. I screamed, but no noise came out. I then felt something stuck in my skull. I'm not sure what, because by that time I had my eyes closed. I pretended to sleep and went into a deep panic. My mind was racing at 1,000,000 miles per hour. I heard a great whooshing sound, and when I next opened my eyes, thankfully, they were gone. Case 6. In 1961, Linda Porter had a rather odd occurrence. She said, I remember the being slowly coming around the corner and facing me. He stood very still and simply waited as if he knew how frightening he appeared to me. Eventually, he began to talk to me telepathically. He seemed to possess a great deal of dignity and gave the impression of being quite old. He walked me to this room filled with dense light. This is where the memory ends. With me about to enter the room, and the thought translated into the light has to do with what happened. Now, curious enough, Porter had been born with a heart defect. She said that her soul was transferred by the creature into a cloned body of herself that was healthy, and that the creature had explained to her in depth about the other dimensions and travel between them. So essentially this creature wanted to help her, which that's incredible, because after this, she didn't have a heart defect anymore. Case 7. There is a witness who says that her and her friend had been captured by tall, insecticide humanoids. And this is how her encounter goes. I stood there helpless for the longest time, not knowing what to do, but feeling a real sense of panic. Something had to be done quickly. All of it was sudden. There were two beings that appeared next to my friend. They seemed to push me right aside and silently went right to work on her, like skilled surgeons. They stood to her left, standing together and working furiously on my friend. I had no idea who they were and what they were doing. But the first thing I thought, are they aliens? I stood there and watched. I thought they looked like praying mantises. Then I focused on my friend and saw her head was split wide open. Like these aliens spliced it perfectly open. I saw freshly sliced raw flesh. And these aliens, praying mantises, were busily removing pieces of bone or rock or whatever from her brain. This did not look anything like what I would imagine the inside of a brain to look, but it was just such a clean cut. The two beings worked quickly without speaking one word. I seemed to black out and don't remember any more of it. And this is the final case I have for you guys. So, case 8. The witness describes his experience. My praying mantis figure was very kind to me. He urged me to stay calm and telepathically reassured me everything would be all right. My right eye was removed by a device that came down from the white ceiling. I started to really panic, but the mantis kept me from really freaking out. Then it was replaced. The mantis also told me telepathically that I was a special person who would really make a difference here on Earth. I am now 44 years old and have made no significant differences to the human race. I think he may have just wanted to reassure a child at the time. I have retained one thing from my encounter. I still have the power to see major global disasters before they happen. I only report them to my fiance or my close family because I know everyone else would just call me crazy. But now they believe me for the most part, because when I see something clearly and tell them, it always happens. So I would imagine that he sees those things because of the eye they replaced it with. So maybe they chose him to see those things. I can't imagine something so horrifying happening to you. Oh, there's a bunch there. And just being reassured by somebody. I mean, I guess that does happen in surgeries and stuff. Like with a C-section, that is a terrifying thing. And you're getting told, like, you know, this is what's happening, like, and it's reassuring and it calms you down a little bit because you know what's happening. And I guess in a weird way, that's kind of similar to what they do. But how would you guys react if you had an encounter with a mantis alien? Even though I think the small insect praying mantises are very cool, I probably wouldn't do well with just randomly seeing one of these. But I know that if I saw one when I was, the ones that were in the same area, it's almost like they were cloaked. They were really shocked that, these people could see them and that they didn't want to be seen. They didn't want to be caught. So they're trying their hardest just to leave, right? So, but let me know how you guys would react down below. Definitely make sure to enter that giveaway. Remember, subscribe, like this video, and comment your favorite mythological creature down below. Super easy, takes 2 seconds, and then you're entered. And until next time, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I love you guys. Bye.